All right, folks, I thought long and hard about this. I've actually kind of like recorded and re-recorded views of this album, and it's a lot. It's given me time to examine my own thoughts about it, and I've been able to kind of calm myself because at first I felt like I was kind of agitated by this album because, you know, to trigger everybody right out of the gate, I don't like Fear Inoculum. I think it's Tool's worst album by a lot, by a lot of a lot of a lot. And the reasons why might assuage you, Tool Dick Writer. You might feel good about yourself and you might just think I'm an idiot, so hear me out. None of this album is bad because Tool sucks. I almost feel like this album is bad because Tool is too good. And that sounds insane, right? But the thing is, this album suffers from being musical theory masturbation, essentially. There's basically really only 6 tracks. They're all extremely long, over 10 minutes practically. One of those tracks is fucking terrible, which hurts the percentage of quality right off the bat. Culling Voices is the worst Tool song I've ever heard. I struggled to finish it. It's so bad. It's basically like the worst bullshit. To me, Culling Voices sounded like the 13th Step, A Perfect Circle album, but it was like people trying to imitate it and failing to capture the quality of it. It just was lame and long and tedious. And I really feel like what tediousness I felt from this album was because I feel like Maynard's lyrics were bad almost all the way through. Maynard, for some reason, I mean, I listened to A Perfect Circle's, I hated A Perfect Circle's most recent album that came out a couple of years ago. I think it was 2015, 2016. This is terrible. But Maynard was projecting. He's out in front of the mix. He's fucking right out there ostentatious and pretentious and doing his political bullshit for some reason. And he sounded great musically, if not lyrically. I don't know if it was on purpose. It feels like it was on purpose, but Maynard was kind of way in the back of the mix here. Like he was kind of letting the music go forward. I feel like Maynard was the weakest link, which blows my mind because he's basically the best rock singer of all time when it comes to like modern alternative grunge, metalish, metal rocky, hard rocky, whatever. Because anyone would say like, oh, Freddie Mercury, this, blah 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 blah. No, bring it back. Or Dio, metal, blah blah blah. Bring it back. Just when it comes to hard rock and alternative, Maynard is king, and Maynard sucks on this album. He sucks hard. And it feels like it was on purpose. It feels like it was a stylistic choice that I feel like was the wrong choice. No trademark roars. Doesn't demonstrate his range. Very mellow and almost, I don't want to say monotone, but just very no variance. No flex. It's just not there. Adam Jones, I believe, was the second worst guy on this album. I could hear him being very self-referential and derivative. Like Descending, I told a friend who was like, oh, should I get the album? And I'm like, well, you should buy one track on the album and we'll get to that track. But when it came to Descending, I said, Descending is the best medley of riffs that Adam Jones stole from himself and others of all time. Like the opening of it is basically You Lied by Peach, which Tool covered on the Salival album. And then, like the bridge is Zombie, and there's like a little bit of schism in there. And, Sweat. I believe there's a track called Sweat on Opiate, which is like another lick that is featured in Descending. And if that was on purpose, I'm okay. But if it wasn't, it feels like Adam Jones just didn't really have anything new to give. He sounded great, especially on Tempest. He's showing he can still fucking shred. His guitar tone sounded good. It was very, very, very Lateralis-y. Real quick to say, like, kind of like the tone of this album. Tool really kind of reinvents themselves over and over again. I would say Undertow and Opiate the Opiate EP have a similar sound. And then Anima evolved that sound. And then Lateralis was just a complete shift. And then past Lateralis 10,000 Days was another complete shift. And then Fear Inoculum just sounds like Lateralis to me. But it sounds like the worst parts of Lateralis. Or Lateralis with the cool shit, the cool production parts of it stripped off. Um, so there's that. But the two remaining band members are Danny Carey, probably the best rock, hard rock, or alternative drummer of all time. He is unbelievably talented, and he's so talented that I feel like he hurt this album. It felt like he was going for the complexity of Jambi on every single track, and it made it impossible to form a consistent, repeatable, catchy, and headbangable and rooting the song in a riff. There was no room for a riff because Danny Carey was off to the fucking races. So he was too good for this album. He hurt this album by just ascending above it like Dr. Manhattan ascending above Earth. He's just beyond able, really, I feel like, to add to this album, except for in certain tracks. Like, I believe, like, Danny Carey killed it on Invincible, and he killed it on Pneuma. We'll get to Pneuma in a second. But just to round out the band, Justin Chancellor is the most underrated bassist of all time. He's the most underrated Tool member, period. And Justin Chancellor is the undisputed champion of this album. Justin Chancellor did nothing wrong. I'm going to shit on this album a bunch, and none of it is Justin Chancellor's fault. He is godly on every track, and if you are a bass player or a bass fan or whatever, you're going to love this album, and you're going to think I'm nuts. Because if your ear is just anchored on the bass and not on the lyrics or on the guitar, which is sort of like more my realm of like where I even know what's going on because I play guitar not very well, then you're not gonna have a problem here because Justin Chancellor did nothing wrong. Justin Chancellor is a golden god. Justin Chancellor, I didn't get what he was doing in Lateralis. If there was like a band member who was going like, what the fuck are you doing? I don't get it. Like, walk it back. You're too technical on Lateralis. It was Justin Chancellor. And then Justin Chancellor was even better and even tighter and even easier to follow and just really, really contributed very, very well to 10,000 Days. And then Justin Chancellor is the hero of Fear Inoculum. He makes it all worth it. He is so goddamn good. I don't believe like, I feel like I know too little about bass to know how good he is. I feel like I'm seeing like a fraction of his power and he's still a god to me. So Justin Chancellor, you're amazing. Danny Carey, I fully understand what you were trying to do. I don't really think it's your fault. I blame Maynard, hashtag blame Maynard. So Pneuma is the best track on this album. Pneuma is possibly a top 5, at the very least top 10 all-time best Tool track. Pneuma is fantastic. I will be listening to Pneuma often going into the future, and it's possible that parts of this album will regrow on me. I think like Invincible will find it back into my regular play. Maybe I will find more uses for enjoying Seven, Pissed, or whatever, but the rest of this track I don't like. Culling Voices is the track that I hate. I cannot stand Culling Voices. It feels like just bad. A Perfect Circle, it's terrible. I white-knuckled my way listening through it. I listened to it once. I may never listen to it again. It's terrible. There's 3 filler tracks, I think, on this album. There's Maynard James Keenan fucking around on a talk box for 3.5 minutes. There are 2 Danny Carey drum solo songs, like Chocolate Chiptune and Mockingbeat, both of which are sabotaged in post-production. Chocolate Chiptune has this weird sci-fi beeps and boops. They don't fit in the sound of the album. They don't fit or sync up with Danny's drum beats. They just seem to be there to fuck it all up. And Mockingbeat has almost like it's meant to troll me. It's in the name because it is a cool drum solo that I can't follow. It's way the fuck too technical for me. It is mind-blowing. Drummers will love this album. Drummers will their brains will be melted and their eyes will fucking melt like fucking fried eggs out of their face. And yet Mockingbeat has the sound of birds screeching and screaming in it, not singing, not calling, not caw, caw. It's autistic screeching the song. Why would you sabotage the song? Is there some point? Is there a spiritual message? Is there a reference that I don't get? Do I need to travel to South America and do some ayahuasca and visit a shaman to understand why this song isn't the worst fucking cancer of all time? What the fuck, guys? So to kind of sum it all up, I remember there is a metal memer on YouTube by the name of KMac2021 who, if you ever want to laugh your ass off, find his song, his viral video called "How to Write a Tool Song," where he basically takes Deep Purple's "Smoke on the Water" and turns it into a Tool track, and then the joke is at the end he says, "And then don't release it for 15 years." He when asked about Fear Inoculum, he made a meme video trolling his fans. But at the end, he says, "Oh, what did I think about the album?" He says, "I found it kind of boring, to be honest," and shrugged. That sums it up a lot faster than I did in 10 minutes. But it's not that I find this album boring. I find it incomprehensible. And maybe that's my fault. But it seems to be all music theory and no meat. You take Undertow. Undertow is chock full of God tier singles. From Sober to Prison Sex. I feel like tracks like Crawl Away and Swamp Song could have been radio singles. It's all meat. It's all great. It's technical, and yet it's meat. Opiate, dude. Fucking like a Cold and Ugly is amazing, but highly technical. Sweat is amazing, but highly technical. Fucking goddamn... What else? I mean, Anima is wall-to-wall radio signals that are highly technical and amazing. Stinkfist, Eulogy, H, Hooker with a Penis, Anima. Even my all-time favorite Tool song that's all spacey and technical, but even though it's overly long, is still accessible, awesome, and headbangable. Jimmy, my all-time favorite song, is spacey, technical, complex, meandering, and yet digestible, memorable, and has hooks and riffs and returnable beats and a chorus. All of this is missing. I don't know if they were deliberately trying to subvert the genre of formulaic fucking music, that they were avoiding trying to form a verse and a chorus in most songs. And why is it that everyone's sucking the dick of Numa, the best song on the album? Because it has a verse and a chorus and a hook and a riff, and it's fucking amazing. And they could have tightened up and fucking neatly brought down the songwriting and made Invincible and Descending and Tempest into tight, somewhere between 4 and 8 minute songs. Instead, they are fucking masturbatory, pretentious 13 to 17 minute pieces of fucking shit, honestly. Culling Voices is fucking cancer. Mockingbeat is cancer. Chocolate Chiptune is fucking cancer. That fucking talkback, fuck you. Fuck you. The talkbox solo to Zombie cannot be its own 4-minute song. Fuck you. It's not acceptable. So, if I compare this album against the pop-infested and diseased terminal cancer that is rock, because you look at the music scene, there's no such thing as country, it's pop. There's no such thing as rap, it's pop. There's no such thing as our rhythm and blues or blues, it's pop. There's no such thing as rock or metal, it's pop. It's all fucking pop. It's all record producer and no fucking starving artist anymore. And then you take Tool and compare it against that fucking garbage, that fucking wasteland, that fucking swamp, and it sounds great. But you compare Fear Inoculum to Tool's discography, and it's trash. It really is, folks. And I will stand by that. Maybe it'll grow on me a little bit. Lateralis, I found it inaccessible. But Lateralis really, really growed on me. The Patient, is one of my favorite songs. And I shit on what they call the transition song or the transitory songs or the palate cleansers or whatever in this album. Because even Tool fans are like going like, what is this fucking long ass intro shit? And they're like, they always did that. Well, you had like Negative Ions into Anima or I forget what that was. Or was it 46 and 2? Like Anima, the album, was full of weird transition songs that added to the tone, the feel, the taste of the album. These don't. These are a waste of my time. These are me kind of sitting there anticipating. I feel like almost like I'm listening to techno going, are you going to drop the beat? 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 It was waiting. It wasn't fun. It wasn't interesting. It wasn't ambiance. It was waiting. You got Eon Blue Apocalypse, Into the Patient. Bill Hicks fucking talking about vegetarianism into Disgustipated or whatever. This isn't there. This isn't it. It just feels like filler. It's MSG, not meat. You know what I mean? I'm looking for where's my skeleton? So I'm looking at songs that a lot of people are like, oh, you pretentious faggot. What are you looking at? You're joking about pop, but you're looking for a 5-minute radio single. You're fuck right I'm looking for a 5-minute radio single. Tool was built on 5-minute radio singles, you fucking asshole. You pretentious prick. You fucking head up your ass clown. Fucking goddamn space cadet. Fuck you. Okay? Get off Tool's dick and look at this album for what it is. It's like Tool pretending to be Tool and not quite succeeding. It's Uncanny Valley, the album. Tell me I'm wrong. And yet it's not bad. It's just bad Tool. And yet I only paid $12 for it, and I'm not dissatisfied because I would have paid twice as much for how good that track Numa is. Numa, yo, man. But I just feel like when I talk to Tool fans, I can't say what I want to. I mean, even if I'm not that serious, I can't say what I want to, man. I can't say things like, go fuck yourself. Go fuck yourself, you piece of shit. Why don't you just kill yourself for saying I can't say what I want to about Tool? Well, I think it's your turn to hush, bro. Thanks for watching.